Julia. De Alto Cedro voy para Macané, llego a Cueto y voy para Mayarí. De Alto Cedro voy para Macané, llego a Cueto y voy.
Gwini cor yn geidal sias ffarm ffyrcyn ffodsiwr o filiog tron o'na. Agus táhas yn gyda'r tólinn fwy'n amser. Agus, cymolus sin, Tommy di tiach gyda dere yn srasio dy cwsiwr oras yn wtron. Ac to rhywmedar yn gyramwyd yn anan flin sio, na cwsiwr egrw. Goflin o hyn, Nir y feine o as agos fi orin na cwsiwr y cor ar at lowach. Tomwyd yr eis agos tomwyd harfa bwych dy gont yna fi cawriclyn i bwyntyn on made sin amach. May I just say how very welcome Spin and I would like to welcome you to what is the final in a series of Horus and Neutral parties. And as I have just said in Irish, we had no escape from it, but to cancel the parties for the last 2 years when we were all struggling with COVID. But it's great to be back, and it's great to have the opportunity of welcoming people to Horus and Neutral, the home of Irish precedent since 1938. And in a way, we use these gatherings in the summer to recognize first and say thank you and encourage all those who are doing so much work individually and collectively in communities throughout the whole of the island of Ireland. And I think as we're coming to this evening's one, which is the end of our series, there will be so many people I wanted to thank in a moment. May I say first of all how delighted I am that Liz Nolan is our MC for this afternoon. And I want to tell her that establishing Lyric FM was something of which I'm very, very proud. I often think back to that time 25 years ago when there was so much energy and we were all so enthusiastic in establishing a Department of Arts, Culture and the Gaeltacht. But I do remember, I would say this about Lyric. I never had any doubt about it. It was quite complicated, really, splitting the station between Rada and Gaeltacht and finding a frequency of its own and so forth. And then at the same time, it was going to Limerick, and it has done so much. And I would say to Liz this, it's a great compliment, not only for the wonderful things she mentions that they have achieved, but no matter what people are feeling as they're driving in any part of the country, when they're confused or depressed, or even when they're happy, when they have nothing to say to each other, they will say, turn on Lyric. I'm so pleased about all of that. And what it has as well, it was that time in 1995. It's a shining light in public service broadcasting. This is what broadcasting is all about, being able to achieve, if you like, something so valuable to the people and to do so with excellence. But I think that this evening, we're just very, very fortunate that performing will be the Dublin Gospel Choir, which is celebrating 25 years since it was first established. And they're very deeply rooted in the cultural life of our city, and they have represented us indeed proudly on the European stage. But more important than anything else is that they've brought choral music and singing into the hearts of our communities, and they have given a sense of resilience and life to communities, and that is very, very important. I should tell you that maybe the first event that Sabina and I attended when I was inaugurated as president in 2011 was a trip to Derry to celebrate choirs. It was the choral festival. And we went there. And I want to take the opportunity, particularly of thanking the young teachers, many of them female, I have to say, who in fact have brought choirs to the standard that they have in Ireland. The quality is just fantastic. And not only in relation to the school system, but choral singing and choirs have all over Ireland for people of all ages and background is very, very important. I think as well, as we're coming towards the end of this series of garden parties, and we're coming out of what the experience we had of being duntashius during COVID. I want to say how much I felt that those who are performers were very, very much affected by COVID. Probably a group of people who were earning their living by performance, who needed stages and who needed audiences. They were particularly affected. And I think it's great that they're back, because live performance is the very essence of life in the community. And it is very important. It's also true to say that when people have access to performance spaces of a diverse kind, everyone benefits. It is, I think, as well in times of recession, in times when people are challenged, that is the time when that aspect of citizenship that you must not lose is participation. Being able to say, no matter what, I'm still able to participate. And that's the importance of arts and culture. I think as well that the more places, public performance spaces, the more a society is enriched. And also as well, it was very true to say that even during the COVID, people found new ways. For example, there were those bright moments when people came out on their balconies and started singing and recognising each other. And that was a kind of a great affirmation of the human spirit. The choral sector in Ireland is now a very, very important one, whether people are performing professionally, where people are performing voluntarily, or however people are performing. It is really expanded and massively. There are thousands of people bringing joy to millions of people through their singing together. So I want to pay tribute this evening, Maruk Drona Hearing, to all those who participate in such musical ensembles. And I think the many dedicated individuals as well, particularly in the voluntary sector, where people have been conducting and bringing new choirs into existence. I do think that's good. Give them a bull of bus there. Many years ago, we now have one army band, but many years ago I was a defender of when we had 4 army bands. And they were important for this reason, because when the people left the army and they scattered around throughout the island of Ireland, they were the people who encouraged musical literacy, people being able to read music, and all of that activity that is part of the life of Ireland. Do I hear rain? Thank you for staying away for so long. I think that as well, that this evening I'm so grateful that we have the Dublin Gospel Choir. And as I have said, I thank them for their continued efforts of bringing a shared and joyful form of musical expression into the very heart of our community. And I'm looking forward to hearing from them. Now, I've already welcomed Liz Nolan, and it's great to hear her at any time, hear her on the radio, and to hear her here with us this evening. And she will be introducing our other talented performers, John Walsh, piano, and then Mis Amigos, El Trio Havana. They are just wonderful. I hope you have been listening to them out there. La música latina, nada es más importante que la música. Now, I think about it. And then, of course, we have, as I said, all of this evening, no more than all of the other garden parties, are made possible by a fantastic, dedicated contribution of their effort from our household staff here at the OPW in our Sanuta. They're responsible for all of the food that you've had, and indeed, they bring their own personalities with generosity and life into the delivery of the garden parties. So, Bula Bus and the Arish Maragut Mace the Vara made Iraq the Requinshits and Socks and a Togri Suda, a Wilshit the Egg, 5 mothers non Scott. I also want to thank the staff of the Secretariat for all the organisation and planning of these events, including this evening, their efforts at contacting you all, making sure that you're able to be here. The sound and technical difficulties, there aren't difficulties, their achievements is over there, are provided by Johnny Donnelly and Arcana. But very, very good to have John is known all over the world for the excellence of his performance and sound, and that's over there. We're assisted in the organisation of all our events inside and outside by different groups, including civil defence, our friends at St John of God's, the Defence Forces, and Garda Síochána and volunteers from Gaishka. Níl avras amach bhfuil se bhí ghain státas an tránóra go dtí seo, agus níl avras ar amach go leanna sé mar sin. Mahan héin is a ríisiom san de bhain céile saibhín. Áhas an dánar an gorabh sin an an bhélion trónóna, agus tá súlam go mhaine sibh solta deanamh as an méidéiliad an clárata éagreach ach an dúibh. I'm so pleased that you're all able to join us this afternoon. Continue to enjoy the afternoon, and may I, beyond all of this, and because this is our final garden party season, may I wish you and your families and your communities the best of health. May we have peace, let us hope, in our time soon again on our planet, behaving if we like. Won't it be wonderful again? We'll be able to go back to the concerns that matter us so much on climate change, global poverty, eliminating famine, all of those things. But in the meantime, let us make our resolve that all these issues we will return to with vigour. But more importantly, and this evening, when Chana Voss and Throne on, Slán Agaibh, bye bye.